But you have to understand something. What I was hearing was that that there was no communication, there was no dispatch communications, that everything that was occurring at that location was done via cell phone. No one contacted dispatch. The initial complaint to Detective Brook was done via cell phone. Department phone or personal phone, we don't know. We're going to get out our internal. We're going to get the internal to see how this occurred. So I'm hearing from where I'm in Malta. I'm hearing 10,000 miles away that we have a felony cars takedowns over petite larceny. Guns are drawn. People being dragged out of the vehicle. People being thrown on the ground. I'm being told that by looking at this without any real concrete information, that there was a lot of things going on, and that there was no radio communication whatsoever over the radio network, over the Nye County Sheriff's Office communication system. When I contacted Lieutenant Medina Saturday, because you got to understand, you guys are 1 day behind. I'm a day ahead,
right?
And so I'm getting what's happening on Friday, on Saturday. Here it's happening on Friday, Saturday there. I contacted Lieutenant Medina. I said, listen, this is what I need to know. Was there radio traffic? Was all this things going on? And what exactly happened? Did everybody decide to go off, off grid, so to speak, do all this stuff between cell phones? And what was the reason behind that? And so Medina was tasked coming in Monday very quickly trying to establish what was going on. And today is Wednesday is the product of that can do an investigation, of course, and then typing up this report so that I have something to look at and something to say. Okay, at this time there's no reason to put anybody on admin leave, and as soon as and I contacted Dave Brookwood yesterday, and I said you're off admin leave. Very quickly returned his car, his keys. He's back to full duty. Assistant Sheriff Rick Marshall is off admin leave, and I know that the press and the public is saying, why did you do that? And I said, well, I did the same thing for Detective Brookwood's. I mean, if you look at past history, I have to look at what's best for the office overall. And within that, I'm telling everybody, be professional. We all have a job to do on behalf of the citizens of Nye County. We're professionals and act in a professional, and act accordingly because we have a job to do. The people that wind up getting kind of injured in this by the negative press, and of course their concern over the public safety aspect of the sheriff's office is the public who basically we owe who employ us all. They employ me. I work for them directly as the elected office. They hired me to manage the office. And of course, the deputies in Nye County likewise owe them they're the taxpayers that pay the salary, and they deserve professional service as well. So we're just telling everybody, just do the job professionally and continue on, protecting the public we serve.
Are you looking at misconduct of any other deputies that were there at the scene?
Well, what's concerned, what we're looking at is to do an investigation. We're looking at, I'm not going to prejudge anybody's actions at this time. I mean, if that comes out, I can't prejudge that because ultimately I'm the final decision maker for any type of charges if there's misconduct that comes up. What I'm looking for is the answers, like everybody else is looking for, the answers, and looking and making sure that we conduct a thorough investigation. We can't do this ourselves because of the conflicts, and to make sure that everybody's interviewed, everybody's given an opportunity to talk to the outside investigator, and for the outside investigator to look at our policy procedures and everything else that we do give them, and to make a determination whether or not these policies were followed, and if not, is there a retraining involved in that, or is there any culpability which would be like a disciplinary factor? I don't know. Like I said, I didn't go to Lieutenant Medina, and of course, who then requires Assistant Detective Joe Close, to look for misconduct. I'm looking for it to see if to get an idea. Was there anything egregious that I had to take immediate action right then to put due to public safety concerns, put somebody on administrative leave or take some kind of immediate action. There's not any of that in this report.
Have you been able to view both videos? Or?
I haven't viewed any of it. I cannot, you have to understand something. I'm like a judge. I have to make sure I don't get what they call an ex parte communication. I can't go to the person that's accused and the accusers and say, give me a story. I want to know what's happening, because when I get this case, I have to get it anew, like a judge does. Now I can read a newspaper, like judges can read a newspaper, but once I start having a lot of evidence in front of me, that may complicate there may be a mitigating factor when I make a decision. Well, you review this and you have a pre-knowledge of a lot of things. I can have a general knowledge. I can't have all the in-depth information that's available. I know there's reports in this thing here. I haven't reviewed all the reports. I can't review all those reports. I have to see what the investigators tell me, and then once I get that case, then I review everything that they were given. I review all the reports. I review all the interviews and so on and so forth. So, and then I'm the one that actually signs that and makes that determination that basis the final decision maker. And of course, then there's the grievance process and so on, pre-disciplinary process. But I have to be, like I tell people, like, you can't tell me everything. You give me enough, I'll give that to an investigator to look at the alleged deputy misconduct. All I wanted to know was there anything that stood out as being something I would take immediate action as the sheriff to protect the public and protect the agency. I don't see that at this time. With the information I was given, but like I said, this is what we call just an administrative inquiry. That's all it was. Yes.
Have you, or not you, but has Lieutenant Medina reached out to the person that reported?
We're not doing any of the investigation.
Okay.
Yeah, we have.
Who's the outside agency that you're gonna? Can you tell us that?
We're going to contact. There's two that can do it. One is the Attorney General, and the other is NDI. Right now, you understand, I was supposed to be up in Carson City because we have our yearly memorial for our fallen officers.
Oh, that's right.
And then there's the Sheriff's and Police and Post Commission. And, the Attorney General and, of course, the Director of Public Safety are involved in that, in those venues, and, of course, in the memorial service to honor our fallen officers. So, if not Friday, because tomorrow's Thursday. If not Friday, then Monday, I'll be in contact with the director of NDI, and I'll have contact with the Attorney General's office to ask assistance and see which agency is going to provide us assistance for this. And then, then once that occurs, then I will have them, given what we have, and of course, then they'll start doing the interviews and so on and so forth. Like I said, was just making sure that, I'm just trying to get some immediate answers. I'm not looking to start an internal affairs investigation. I already informed Lieutenant Medina that when I contact them Saturday, is that you're not doing the internal affairs investigation. You're looking for time-sensitive information, which we have to gather because we don't know when Attorney General or the NDI is going to get assigned to it, but we don't know when their investigator is going to start initiating their investigation. So if there's anything time-sensitive and so on and so forth, make sure that we have that. That's where we're at right now, and there's nothing. What I have here is ended from outside of the Nye County Sheriff's Office. Anything that's going to proceed from the outside agency is going to do the investigation. They will, of course, get the video and dispatch recordings and dispatch records, and what we have as far as the arrest records, and then they'll continue. Then they'll start the investigation with all the individuals that were involved.
Now, there's supposed to be another press conference tomorrow.
That would be, what I understand, that's going to be between the lawyer and the NCLEA.
Right, but my question to you is, were you made aware that they're supposedly going to be showing the press surveillance video of this arrest?
They can show the video of the arrest. I mean, that's up to them.
I think.
I mean, I understand that. I understand that.
I'm sorry, it's a dash cam video.
No, they're showing Stephen Lee's video, supposedly.
Oh,
But I
okay.
understand that the DA actually has a copy of that.
Oh,
So I don't know, that's they can show it. I mean, from that perspective.
Okay.
How
But
did
like
you-
I said, it's from the perspective of Nye County Sheriff's Office, that's on the criminal side. I don't deal anything with the criminal side of it. What we do is what we do with the internal affairs side of it. And whoever gets that will get all this stuff and they do the internal affairs investigation, so.
How did you just come to the conclusion that David Berkowitz was in charge? He's not on the declaration. Wasn't there a sergeant that was on scene that night?
Well, I did ask a sergeant whether or not the sergeant was there. And I must say that I got some hesitancy. All I asked was a question: were you made aware of the situation? And I'll tell you this: how I got this is with I got home 2:30 in the morning on Tuesday. I just got back from Malta, and so one thing I want to know if there was a sergeant that was there. And the sergeant told me I couldn't speak of it. I said, all I'm asking for is information I can get from dispatch. All I want to know is, were you there? And what I was told was, no, Lieutenant Jarvis was in charge, and and I said, well, he was a Beatty, and the sergeant says, no, I wasn't there. So that's what I got from the sergeant, that the sergeant wasn't there. But we'll, like I said, is that we'll have the investigation
A certain
done, and
amount
then
of
the
this.
investigator will determine what would happen. But from the information I got from this report is that seems to be that Detective Berkowitz took a supervisory role in the stop.
Because a certain amount did come over the radio that evening after the initial, and I actually heard the call come through. So, are they?
Well, I would hate to
researching
think that if I asked a direct question to a sergeant who basically told me that, and this is kind of interesting. I can ask, were you there? I'm just asking, were you there? Because the information I was getting is that there was no supervisor, and this is current. It's Saturday in Malta, it's Friday in Nye County, and I'm told that there was a sergeant that was there, and I'm being told that the sergeant knew about it, and I'm going, okay. And then when the first question I come back is, I just asked, not to ask anything outside about the investigation. All I wanted to know, were you there? Were you aware, and were you there? And I was told by the sergeant that no, that the sergeant told me directly after saying that Lieutenant Jarvis was in charge, and he was a Beatty. I was told by the sergeant that the sergeant said I wasn't there. I didn't come on until later. So, all right. So let the investigator deal with that and to see what's that. But no, like I said, is that this is an inquiry as to what was going on at the scene. So.
Did you look into the resisting arrest?
I'm not looking
accusations?
into anything. I understand something is that the AG is going to handle the criminal side. Whoever is going to do the investigation is going to do the investigation on the internal affairs side. So what I needed to know was there anything egregious that having people working at this time for Nye County Sheriff's Office is going to present a litigious situation for them to continue working in their particular jobs, and whether or not by them working in particular jobs, was there going to be anything that's going to create a public safety concern for the public and of course for Nye County Sheriff's Office. And there's none of that at this time. I mean, and I know that everybody has. I know that the people in Nye County, forget some certain things. But if you look back 2010, I was very adamant in my defending Detective Berkowitz, in spite of felony charges being filed by the DA at the time, and of course by other individuals on these charges, where basically there was a charging document, and of course then they had to go to court cases, and the case had to be held in Las Vegas because it has to be a change of venue because of these situations dealing with it's just too close to Nye County, so there had to be a change of venue. And then of course the judge looked at everything and decided not to go forward with that. You get from news, Brian, the DA saying, I'm not, this goes to the AG. Me as a sheriff of Nye County, the other elected official in public safety, saying the investigation is going to another agency. What's on that video and so on and so forth? That's going to be up to the criminal side to deal with that. And of course, I'm sure that that whoever's doing the investigation and the internal affairs side of it I will look at that as well and make that determination. I'm not interested in seeing it, because we have an investigation to do. We have a responsibility, making sure that when I look at something, I'm not prejudging it. I'm looking at something anew, in
Do you
that
have an
respect.
estimate of how long the investigation will take and when you will get a final answer?
No, until I find out who's going to do it. I mean, then they'll let us know when the investigator will come down. We'll start scheduling appointments. Remember, we have to schedule by contract. We have to schedule these appointments. There's also a bill of rights that has to, there's also responsibilities under the Nevada statute that has to take place as well.
Within NCSO policy, is there anything that says that, say,